Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm MrRedClaw. Welcome back to an episode of Formula 1 2021 My Team Career. This time for the French Grand Prix. Before we get into it, either head down below, like and subscribe, as it does help out a lot. And let's get right into qualifying. So here I am out for my flying lap around Circuit Paul Ricard. Definitely not the best of circuits. I actually kind of enjoyed the first two sectors of this circuit. It's just kind of the last one where you can't really overtake. Like even in this first sector, if you get it right, and if the person makes a mistake in front of you, you can overtake pretty much at each corner. In Sector 3 though, you really have to get lucky, and the person in front of you really has to mess up in order for you to be able to pass them over there. Now of course, down this long straight, of course the first kind of straight is in Sector 1, then the other one is in kind of Sector 2, which is, well, yeah, kind of, yeah, mostly over here. Now, as you can see, this is actually lap 3, so this time I have actually improved on my third lap, because I haven't done that since like the third round or something like that. I just kind of went as quickly as I could during my second lap, and then that was it. But this time it worked. On my third lap I went fastest, and as you can see, I'm not really sure if you saw when we went out past the start and finish line, there's actually quite a lot of people just staying inside and not going out for like their last run. I'm not really sure why. Maybe they just thought that it wasn't worth it, but here we are gaining 5 tenths. Going to lose a little bit on the exit, but it's still going to be just over 4 tenths gained, which is going to give us a P8, which is good. So let's see what we can do during the race.
An event dating all the way back to 1906. It's been held at many venues over the years, with famous moments from Dijon and Manicourt the feature of many a highlights reel. And let's hope we see more of those in the race today. A lap of Paul Ricard then consists of 15 corners and a total length of around 3.6 miles. Drivers will need to position their cars carefully on the exit of the flat-out turn 10, ready for the double apex right-hander at 11. Watch out for potential overtaking action at the end of the start-finish straight and into the heavy braking zone of turn 8. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here today. But I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
From the moment qualifying's over, you start to feel the adrenaline in your body build up and the buzz in your stomach as you anticipate the run down into turn 1. It's all a bit like going into battle, and the unknown situation makes you nervous. Those pre-race nerves are a good thing. The day you don't have them means that you don't care anymore. And of course you have to make sure that all the procedures are second nature to you, so that they're not taking up too much of your capacity.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Perez, Carlos Sainz and Norris, Ricciardo, Red, Vettel and Pierre Gasly, Tsunoda, Stroll, Fernando Alonso and Ocon, Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Mick Schumacher and Valtteri Bottas, Russell, Mazepin, Lundgaard and Nicholas Latifi. And now it's time to head down to the track.
So here we are lined up in a P8 with Ricciardo to the left of us and Norris and the other McLaren right ahead of us. And we've got Vettel to our, well, behind us, and Gasly right behind us as well. So it's lights out and away we go. Not really the best of starts over here. I need to use ERS straight away just to kind of keep up with the pack ahead. Kind of go on late on the brakes, try going around the outside, but then I just kind of realised that there's not going to be any space for me over there. So I just kind of let it go. Now Gasly and Vettel are on the kind of outside of me, and I kind of didn't realise that they were both together and fighting. So I'm pretty sure like Yuki Tsunoda kind of went in there somewhere as well. So there's a virtual safety car straight away as I just kind of clipped, I think, like the back of, well, the front of Gasly, and he kind of moves into Tsunoda and Vettel. I'm not really sure what happened there, but we are fine. But Yuki Tsunoda had to actually pit, I guess, for a new front wing or something like that, as on lap 4 we are going to be pitting for the medium tyres, because I was actually meant to stop on lap 5 or like lap 6 for the mediums, but my pace was already kind of down on lap 4, so I just kind of said, why not just come in a bit early, try the undercut on others. Now Bottas actually had a grid penalty, and he started all the way at the back, I think. So he is going to try and get back into the points and maybe onto the podium as well, as we get a really long stop over there. 3.1 seconds. That's quite long, to be honest, and Red Bull could have, with the world record pit stop, they could have nearly pulled off 2 pit stops in the space of hour 1 over there. As we get past Gasly, Sainz did stay ahead of us though, but we did get past Vettel, but Ricciardo stays ahead of us as well. But we move on to lap 9 over here, and Sainz is a little bit slow out of the first kind of few corners over there, and we get past him. Leclerc collides with Latifi, a little bit of contact with them. I think there was just a wheel-to-wheel contact over there, so nothing too major to the two cars, as we get a good launch out of that corner onto the straight. I actually thought it would be a little bit easier to overtake the Williams of Latifi over here, but actually wasn't, so we have to get him under braking over here, as we do have the better tyres, because I'm pretty sure Latifi has been on the medium since the start, so we have the fresher tyres. As Hamilton pits, I'm not really sure what happened over there. I'm not really sure why he would be pitting right now. Maybe a one-stop, but he was quite far behind. As on lap 10, there's a full-on safety car, so I'm pretty sure that's 2 races in a row now, as we go in to box on to the hards. I was actually meant to do a 2-stop from softs to mediums, but I just kind of thought, well, I might as well just take this free pit stop under the safety car, as basically everyone else is doing, and just kind of get it out of the way and just kind of box on hards instead of the mediums, because if I boxed on mediums 17 laps, that would have just been a little too much to safely and quickly get to the end. But we are going to have to wait behind our teammate Lundgaard, who still hasn't actually come in. This is his first pit stop over there, and it takes a little bit of time over there for them to get ready. So we're going to have another really, really long pit stop, 4.2 seconds. That's not what we want. We exit into Mazepin. That would have been an unsafe release, so that was real life. But luckily in the game, we just kind of goes through, actually get the position on Mazepin over there. So now we just need to catch the safety car queue, and here we go in P18. So really quite a lot of cars to overtake, but Russell ahead of us is on soft, so he is going to have to box at least once, and he's going to be slower after about, well, 4 laps, as we saw with myself at the start, as we get a really bad launch like we did in the last race. After the safety car restart, I messed up there. I kind of messed up over here. Luckily Mazepin didn't get past, but he was quite close, as on lap 14 over here we are going to be trying to get past Russell over here in the other Williams over here, with Giovinazzi just ahead of him on hards as well. Now I did actually have a pretty worn out gearbox over here, and actually I'm pretty sure around lap 10 or maybe around now I actually lost, I'm pretty sure it was 4th gear, so coming out onto the long straights was actually quite a challenge, but that's not even like the worst thing to happen for me in this round, I guess, as you're going to see a bit later on, as loads of people go in to pit, and we actually move up to P10. So those are all of the people who I think just kind of either stayed out or boxed in for the softs. So we actually move on to P8 as more people pit. So actually P7 as well. Problem for Lewis Hamilton again, I'm not really sure, but George Russell is out of this race, as we send it down the inside of both Raikkonen and Leclerc. Leclerc gets past, he nearly loses the back of his car. I have to go cut the course not to end up in the back of him. I wouldn't have been able to slow down in time, so we have to let him pass. Raikkonen goes past, overtakes me, or basically cutting the course like I did on Leclerc. Leclerc gets past me momentarily, but we actually just get past him straight away. And actually Raikkonen over there, he would have actually had to let me past as well, like I did with Leclerc, but he actually gets a 5-second time penalty for basically overtaking me off the track and gaining an advantage. Not really his fault, kind of I started all of that, but he's just kind of gotten unlucky in all of that. So we move on to lap 20 over here. As you can see, there's a little bit of a problem with the gears over here, as it's taking quite long for me to shift up and shift down. Now my gearbox around this time, I think it was around 85%, and I thought I would be quite okay with taking this gearbox to the end of the race. Only 7 laps left after this, but as you can see, there was just some problem with the gearbox, and it just took a couple, like an extra second to switch up. As you can see, I actually had to switch like a second earlier than I would have had to in order to kind of maintain speed on the straight. But moving on to lap 21, as you can see, I couldn't hold on for long enough, and we are going to drop a lot of places really quickly as Leclerc gets past, Raikkonen gets past, and Perez is going to try and get past as well. And he will get past on the main kind of straight over here, as we just can't accelerate fast enough, and actually Perez and Norris are going to overtake us, so not good for us. We were, what was that, like P5, P6, so we dropped down all the way down to P9 within basically half a lap, which isn't good for us. Moving on later towards lap 9, Perez actually goes to pit. I'm pretty sure he had some contact with Norris or something, so that kind of sucks for him. But as you can see now, at the end of lap 21, moving on to lap 22, we get our gears back and they are working properly. So we can hunt down Raikkonen and maybe, well no, Norris is probably a little bit too far, but the best we can do is get back this P7 from Raikkonen. We didn't really have to overtake him, we just had to keep 5 seconds behind him. But I wanted to overtake him because that kind of just makes it feel better. And that's basically where we stayed. Hamilton tried to close the gap on us, but as you can see, he didn't really do too good of a job, and Valtteri Bottas wins this race. Now actually, post-race, I finished the race, I was going into the post-race kind of screen to show like the results, but that's when my game crashed and it didn't save the race. So there was probably 2 things I could have done. Probably redone the race and hope that I finished in P7 again, or just kind of start the race and retire and just say, well, that just happens sometimes, and that's what I did. I just basically DNF'd from the race. So these 4 points that we would have gotten, was it 4 or was it 6? I'm not sure, but the points we would have gotten this race basically don't count at all, and people that wouldn't have won, and people who wouldn't have gotten points in this race actually gotten points when I just retired. So it sucks for us as we lose a couple of points, and people who we are fighting against have gained a couple of points without me even having having to fight. It definitely sucks, but I'm not really sure if there was anything else I could have done over there, as you can see Bottas wins in this race with Max second, actually Danny Rick in 3rd place. But now as we move on to the race where I kind of DNF'd from, it's actually Lewis who won from Bottas, from Verstappen, and yeah, basically our teammate Christian Lundgaard was nowhere near the points. We would have gotten, I'm pretty sure, yeah, 6 points. But we didn't, and we basically lost out 6 points, which is going to hurt us in the championship fight, of course, with Alpine and maybe Aston Martin, AlphaTauri ahead of us. I'm not really sure. So we stay in P13 after that with the 7 points that we had. Sainz moves up to P8 ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. Now the constructors, we don't, well, there's no change over here, but I'm pretty sure Alpine moved 1 point ahead of us. Not ahead of us, but 1 point further away from us. So we definitely actually would have overtaken Alpine, I'm pretty sure, because I was ahead of both Alpine drivers in the first race, I'm pretty sure. So we would have finished off in P7, so definitely sucks, but I'm pretty sure that should be the last kind of problem that I encounter during this kind of season, as it's basically kind of to do with OBS and recording mostly, and the game just a little bit, but with more updates in the game, kind of making the game more stable, it should be fixed. So hopefully that's going to be the last DNF that we have to take and the points that we don't gain. So for the next race, of course, the Austrian Grand Prix, hopefully we do well there. I'm pretty sure that's where we got our first podium in Formula 1 2020, but I guess that's going to be it for now. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.